Gareth, welcome once again, my friend. It's great to be in your company. I tell you what, it's really good to be on the radio talking about fight sports when we've actually witnessed fight sports already today. Live from out in Asia, Gennady Golovkin, Murata unifying the middleweight division. Great stuff.
Absolutely, one of the greats, the great middleweights of all time, Gennady Golovkin. In one of his very last fights. This is going to be, obviously, he's 40 years old, and I know we're going to look back at the fight earlier on today that he won against Murata, which leads into the Saul Canelo Alvarez trilogy fight. But you know what? He's 40, and without rolling back the years, He got a victory tonight at the Saitama Super Arena, an amazing arena that I love, which went with the UFC years ago. And I just got doubts, Adam. I know we'll get into it in a minute, but this is a great stacked show we have tonight. You know, three Furies: Tyson, Tommy, Peter. Shaka Stevenson could be going on to be number one pound for pound in the world. Ryan Garcia, the most followed boxer in the world. I think he is on social media. My word, we got a big show. And we got the Florian Marku will create some waves tonight when he comes on, I'm sure. It is lovely, as always, my friend, to be with you. I've been paddleboarding today, I hasten to add, on the cam, as you know I do when the sun is out, and a little cycle ride. I am up for it tonight.
Good man. We've got a preview of Ryan Garcia's comeback. Quite a long time he's been out the ring, since January 2020. He's back tonight against Emmanuel Targo. We'll give you a preview of that a little bit later on. As Gareth said, you'll hear from Ryan Garcia too. We'll also give you a preview of the UFC. You can hear from Khamzat Chimaev and Alexander Volkanovski. I'll tell you something, that guest list is absolutely ram-jam full. But let's start in Japan with Gennady Golovkin returning to action, fighting Ryota Murata earlier on today and unifying the division on the zone. Let's do this all in association with the zone. And Gareth, you're right in what you've said there. He did get a victory, he did get his hand raised, and he showed glimpses of vintage Golovkin. But at certain points, especially early on in this fight, Murata was having some serious success, and you can't help but think, every fight fan did the same thing this morning, you can't help but think, if you go for part 3 with Canelo, Canelo will take full advantage of that bodywork that Murata was doing early doors today, and he will probably have more success than the man from Japan.
Yeah, I mean, even Murata is 36, I believe, so it wasn't like it was a young stud taking him apart for a few rounds. I was very concerned about Gennady. Obviously, he's got an amazing chin. He's always had very freakishly powerful levers, which made him one of the most feared fighters in the world at 160 pounds for a very, very long time. He's a brilliant middleweight. As I said, one of the all-time greats in the division. I think only a few guys have won world titles in that division beyond the age of 40. I think it joins people like Bernard Hopkins to do that. Obviously, Bernard was a world champion even in his 50s, extraordinarily, 51. But, I think I worry. It's going to be at super middleweight against Canelo. If Canelo comes through Dimitri Bivol and Cinco de Mayo fight in Las Vegas. And I'm not relishing it for Gennady. His legacy was tainted by that first fight. I mean, you've got 1-2 Golovkin and one draw in the second one, didn't you? You had it a draw.
I've got it 114 apiece in the second fight. I think I had it 115, 113 to Gennady Golovkin in the first fight. I think it's very harsh that obviously he's at this moment not with a win out of those two fights. And I think you're right in what you're saying there. I'm of the ilk, and there's two ways of looking at it, because I was also of the ilk of not really needing to see Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder 3, and look at that fight. That was an absolute crackerjack. I was also of the ilk that they would need to see Marquez Pacquiao 4. Look what we got in those types of fights. But I'm taking the same mantra. I won't change my mind. I can understand that it might deliver something brilliant because these two guys are brilliant. But I've just got a funny feeling that where Canelo is right now, he's not on the other side of the mountain. He's still going up the mountain, and he's getting bigger, and he's getting stronger, and he's taking on killers week in, week out. He's constantly in competition. Whereas you've got Golovkin, who's been out for a long period of time. He came back today. Yes, there was rust. Yes, he looked a little bit slow earlier on. Yes, he put his foot down after 5 and got the job done, and he broke his man down doing typical Golovkin things. But I just think I personally, just as a Golovkin fan, I don't need to see him get outclassed by Canelo. I don't need to see it.
Look, they're both on huge contracts. Canelo kind of calls his own tune, doesn't he? And Eddie Hearn has put it out there that that third fight, that trilogy fight, is there in September. Obviously, as I say, notwithstanding Canelo coming through Dimitri Bivol on the Cinco de Mayo. In the first Saturday in May in Las Vegas. But I agree with you, and I think the fight's not yet been signed, is our understanding. So, Gennady and Tom Loeffler and his crew, will look at that and wonder about it. But, look, Gennady has probably only got one fight left, maybe two. The athletic desire, the legacy that he could create in a fight with Canelo would enable him to walk away with many of us saying in boxing that he beat Canelo twice, although history is unkind to him. So, they've got a lot of thinking to do, but they're going to wait, obviously, till, was it May the 5th or May the 6th? I can't remember the exact day. I keep saying Cinco de Mayo in Español, tío. I'm not sure of the actual...
I think that weekend is the 9th.
It's the 9th,
I think it's the celebration of Cinco de Mayo.
It's the 9th, but it's the 5th of May in El Cinco de Mayo.
7th. I apologize.
7th, is it? Okay, well, so it's the 7 de Mayo in Las Vegas. Look, I think they'll watch that result first of all.
Yeah.
And then he's got a big decision. He's never been a super middle, Golovkin. And the great man from Karaganda, Kazakhstan, may opt not to take it. He's already a very wealthy man, but you know what? That is a big global fight, and he could walk away with $20 million from that fight, Ed. So I think he'll take it.
And as you insinuated a moment or two ago, Bernard Hopkins unified at light heavyweight. He comes the second man in history to unify division. I know that George Foreman was the unified heavyweight champion when he beat Michael Moorer, but he took both belts in that particular fight. So to actually unify division where you're fighting another champion, Golovkin becomes the second man to do that, which is just ridiculous. It's a phenomenal thing to add to his ledger of what he's done over the years. And everybody knows my thoughts on the two Canelo fights. I think that he still should be classed as undefeated, even though in the Derevianchenko fight, I think Derevianchenko might have beaten him. But that's for another debate. Regarding chins, I was just having to think when I was watching the fight over my Cocoa Pops this morning, Gareth. He's got a hell of a chin, as Golovkin. Oh. It's right up there with the very best granite whiskers that we've seen from this sport down the years.
Yeah, I mean, look, when you look at the best chins in boxing, the names that spring to mind are people like the unbeaten Rocky Marciano, George Chuvalo, Carlos Monzon, Kid Gavilon, Jake LaMotta, Carmen Basilio. He is... without doubt, physically a phenomenon. I've always thought that about him. He's got that big turnip head, hasn't he? I'm trying to be unkind here to Gennady, a man.
Did you just say he's got a turnip head?
He's got a big.
That's amazing.
He's got a big. I mean, I love turnips. I hasten to. No, he's got. What I mean, he's got that big head, massive neck. He's got a very slimline body, very compact, and he's just always been able to take it. But it's how he slides as well, and how he rides punches. I didn't like the way he was getting caught early on in this fight with Murata at the
body, yeah,
and to the body as well. And the body does lose its tensile strength as you get into your late 30s, and human men are not designed to be at an elite level in their late 30s unless they're heavyweights, and so. He is so amazing. And are we talking about chins tonight on the show?
Yeah,
Ed's nodding. I
think we should do that. I think we should. But last week we had a little bit of a discussion about fights that you want to make for non-champions around the world. I think we'll have a bit of fun with this. I'm sure that you have seen fights over the years where you have been amazed by the power to stay on your feet. That's what we'll go with. Who, in your opinion, has got the best chin that has graced the boxing ring? Get in contact with the show, 03717 22 33 44. We can have a little bit of fun on social media as well, at Adam Catterall, at Gareth A. Davies. Ping them in, and we'll just have a little bit of a wax lyrical later on. You mentioned some cracking names. Rocky Marciano most certainly will be on the tip of most people's tongues if they're a boxing historian. But Golovkin's got to be right up there. Golovkin's got to be one of the best in the modern era anyway. So get in contact with us, 03717 22 33 44.